So any minute, the Pentagon is expected to give an update on Operation Epic Fury. Now, this comes just hours after President Trump announcing that the U.S. and Iran have agreed to a 2-week ceasefire, with the first ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And moments ago, President Trump posting, quote, "The United States will work closely with Iran, which have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium. And the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bomber nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance, Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of the attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanction relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have been already agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Here to discuss, former Trump administration ambassador at large and coordinator for counterterrorism, Nathan Sells. So, Nathan, at the beginning of the show, I went through those 15 points, and it concerned me that we hadn't gotten any agreement, and we put them on the big board right here for the audience to see. But the president is saying that behind the scenes, they have gotten Iran to agree to some of those points. What's your reaction?
Well, Lawrence, great to see you. I think the two sides, based on their public statements, it seems like they're still pretty far apart. The statement the president has put out with our 15 points, those haven't changed from day one. No nuclear enrichment, no nuclear weapons program, and so on. What the Iranians have said publicly is just a complete fantasy list of concessions that they think the United States is somehow going to agree to. And I've got news for you. Those are all dead on arrival. We're not going to pay reparations. We're not going to agree to Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz. We're not going to withdraw our forces from across the Middle East. So I don't know if the Iranians are serious about that, or if that is the sort of thing you have to say to save face with domestic audiences. Time will tell. These negotiations are going to kick off fairly soon in Pakistan, it seems, and we'll get a sense then of how far apart the two sides actually are.
Well, and if they break it's only a ceasefire. This is not an end to the war. I mean, how many ceasefires did we go through with Hamas and Israel? So if they break it, then I guess we bomb our hearts off, as the president would say.
Well, as the president said, all of this is contingent upon Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz. So let's see if they actually follow through on their commitment, because if they don't, if they've breached the agreement already, the United States is not going to be bound to follow the terms of the ceasefire. And notice, overnight, the Iranians launched a number of attacks on the UAE, on Israel, and Kuwait. So maybe this is the sort of thing that happens when word filters down to the frontline commanders, hey guys, hit the brakes on this. But maybe this is a sign that the Iranians are not actually serious about committing to the ceasefire.
Okay, the president also talking new tariffs. He said a country supplying military weapons to Iran will be immediately tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of America, 50% effective immediately. There will be no exclusion or exemptions. What do you make of that?
Well, Lawrence, let's be clear about what countries the president has in mind there. Who is selling arms to Iran? It's our enemies, China, and it's Russia. Yeah. So those three countries have formed an axis of resistance against the United States. They want to knock the United States down from our leadership role in the world and displace us. So they're working together. For us to tariff Russia is probably not going to have a huge economic impact on Russia. We don't buy anything from them, not that much. It's a third world economy with oil. China, on the other hand, should be watching this very closely, because we do have really extensive trading ties with China, and they've been selling apparently not very good military kit to the Iranians. Of course, it was no problem for us to degrade and defeat it, but watch very carefully to see how China reacts to this threat. Are they going to step back from their military commitment and selling dual-use capabilities along with military capabilities to the mullahs?
Nate, I only have a few seconds left, but do you think the American public, and I want to respect people and gas prices, I understand people being impacted by that. People are living paycheck to paycheck in parts of America. But Iran's stated goal was to put pressure on the president when it came down to the gas prices. Do you think we could have given the president some more room in that area?
Hard to say, Lawrence. My sense is that the president was able to offer this ceasefire because his military commanders were telling him, we basically finished the job. We completed the war plan, and so there's not a whole lot left for us to do on the military front. But that's just a guess.
Copy that. Nathan Sells, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Lawrence.
More Fox and Friends straight ahead.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.